Hello and welcome back to another episode of Non-Step F-Step. Today we're going to be doing a tip on how to do handheld HDR photography. All right, so ideally you're gonna do HDR photography on a tripod because the tripod is the most stable platform that you're gonna be able to shoot all of your pictures and not have the camera move. Well, say you forgot your tripod and you really have to get the job done, or you don't have a tripod, or you have a cheap tripod and it's windy and the thing's gonna blow around. Well, if you, for some reason, can't put your camera on a tripod, this is going to show you a few tricks on how to keep the camera still while doing your multiple exposures via on-camera HDR or bracketed shots. The first tip is when you put your finger on the shutter button and you bring your camera up and for composure, as soon as you hit the button, don't let go. Hold your finger down and stay still for the whole time your camera is taking its bracketed shots, like this. And then lift up your finger. The second is don't breathe while you're taking the shot. So bring the camera up, take a breath, exhale halfway, hold it, fire. Kind of like shooting a rifle. All right, so another helpful way of keeping yourself, or keeping the camera still, is actually bracing yourself on yourself. What you do is, you might get a little dirty with this, but put one knee on the ground, put your elbow on your other leg, and suck this arm up against your body. And if you pull yourself in as close as you can, not spread out, so bracing yourself all right here, just kind of try to stay as still as possible. And if you're shifting, like if your stance is too narrow, widen yourself out. That gives you a little bit more balance. Keep your finger on the trigger, breathe, and it's almost as great as a tripod. You can support yourself on other things. You don't need a tripod. So one thing you can do is, if we're gonna be shooting this, obviously we wouldn't put it here, but say you need to get a shot of something and you have a flat surface, you can put the camera on it and just kind of clamp it down with your hand, like push down real hard, and then just really lightly press this button, the shutter button. So that's kind of like using a flat surface to mimic a tripod. The other way you can do it is actually by putting yourself up against that object. So don't just kind of lean up against it like this. Actually push yourself up against it so you're removing all of the muscle twinges or spasms that you might have. So just like push yourself up against it and breathe. Don't move your finger. There you go. And obviously you can get this kind of rotation, but you're removing a lot of the circular motion that you might have. Okay, so say getting right up against the wall, like pushing yourself up against the wall, doesn't give you the composure that you might want, the framing. Well, another way of kind of getting the framing that you would want and still bracing yourself off of something is actually using like your elbow, like this, putting your elbow up against it, and then also pushing your leg out so you're pushing up against the wall, and taking this arm and pushing up against the camera like this so you're not getting any kind of up and down. And bracing that off of your face like this. So you would look like this. Bracing yourself off the wall. All right, so for the final tip, we're actually going to be using live view, where you're using the back screen, and a sling if you have one. And this way, what you're going to be doing is actually pushing it out away from you so that these muscles aren't pulling it in or pushing it back. So any tension is taken up by you pushing. So just like this. Get your composure, lean back a little bit. And for this, we actually did on-camera HDR. So it's processing, and there's your HDR image. All right, so that's it for this episode of Non-Stop F-Stop. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And stay tuned, because you never know what we're going to do next. And this is how not to do a stabilized shot. Oh.